Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha. Uttaram yat samudrasya himadreschaiva dakshinam varsham tad bharatam nama bharatiyatra santatihi. Welcome to all for this session on Skanda Purana in the Maheshwara Khanda, under which there is a Kedar Khanda, and in which we are inviting you to listen to chapter 17. In the previous part, we have seen the story in which Indra was banished from the Devaloka because of the Brahmahatya, and later Nahusha and Yayati were brought into his position, but they were both lost the Indra seat. They both lost the Indra Padavi very soon. And again, Brihaspathi, under the instructions from Shachi, he went and distributed the Brahmahatya of Indra into the earth, into the mountains, into the rivers, and then into the women, and then finally brought Indra and reinstalled him in the throne of Devaloka. And on seeing this Toshtra or Vishwakarma, whose son Vishwarupa was killed by Indra in the past, got angry and he created the great Asura Vrtra. And because of the fear of Vrtra, now once again all the Devas started preparing for a war with with the Daityas. However, they had lost all their weapons in the hermitage of Dadichi, and then Brahma told them to get the bones of Dadichi in order to recreate those weapons. On listening to this, Dadichi gave up his body and went to Satyaloka, and then somehow by using the bones of his body, they recreated all the weapons and getting ready for the war. Lomasha the Suta continued the story. Then, on seeing him, means the Dichi absorbed in the Supreme Spirit, giving up his body, the groups of Suras began to think, how do we make the weapons out of his body? Then the consort of Shachi, that means Indra, called Surabhi, the divine cow, and said, at my instance, lick up the body of Dadichi, saying, so be it, and honoring his word, Surabhi licked the body at the same instant. The body was immediately made rid of all flesh by that cow, remaining only, leaving back only the bones. Suras picked up those bones and made weapons out of them. The weapon Vajra or the thunderbolt was made out of his backbone, and weapons Brahmashiras was made out of his skull. Suras picked up many other bones of that sage and made weapons out of them. Similarly, Suras who were naturally inimical to Daityas made noses out of his clusters of nerves and veins. After making the weapons, all Suras of great strength and exploit hurried back, eager to kill Vrtra. Then Suvarcha, the wife of Dadichi, who had been sent away for the purpose of accomplishing the objectives of Suras, came back to that place and saw the dead body of her husband. On coming to know that everything had been the work of Suras, the chaste lady became immediately infuriated. The chaste lady Suvarcha, the wife of the excellent sage Dadichi, became extremely enraged and pronounced a curse. O Suras, all of you are very wicked, all of you are weak and greedy. Hence, from today onwards, all the heaven dwellers shall be issueless. That means they will never going to bear a child. Thus, that ascetic lady cursed those suras and then came to the root of the Ashwatha tree, the Indian fig tree, where she tore up her belly. From the belly, the foetus of the noble souled, it's actually Pippalada. I mean, he's the son of noble souled, son of Dadichi, came out. He was known as Pippalada of great luster. He was the direct incarnation of Rudra. With eyes flared up with wrath, the mother Suvarcha laughed in derision and spoke to Prahalada, the poetess. Stay here for a long time near this Ashwatthavraksha. O highly magnificent son, be fruitful unto all. Speaking thus to her son, but just a lady Suvarcha followed her husband by means of the greatest samadhi or the concentration. Thus, that wife of Dadichi went to heaven along with her husband. After making the missiles and the weapons, devas of great might and exploits, who were eager to fight with the Daityas, returned with Indra at their head. Honoring Guru and abiding by his bidding, the many groups of suras of great strength and exploit, all of them equipped with great weapons and missiles, came to the earth, the middle land world, and spoke among themselves. On hearing that Devas with Indra as their leader had come, Vrtra, the great Daitya, went there accompanied by the group of Daityas. Just as the peak of Meru is completely visible, so appeared that great son of Vishwakarma with great refulgence. Mahendra was seen by him, the great Asura was seen by Mahendra. The meeting of Devas and Danavas was exceedingly wonderful. Devas and Daityas who had harbored bitter hatred for one another became furious with one another. During that encounter between Suras and Asuras, terrible high sounding instruments of martial music were played everywhere, and their majestic loud report was heard everywhere. As the instruments were being played, all of them hurriedly and powerfully struck one another with many groups of weapons. In that war between Devas and Asuras, all the three worlds, including mobile and immobile beings, were overwhelmed by great fear and became unconscious. Some were cut and broken into two with the weapons, some were injured by means of arrows, and some cut into pieces with Naracha arrows, weapons, and missiles. Some of the heaven dwellers were maimed and crippled with ballas. They moved about like the streaks of lightning from clouds that shine in the sky. Many heads fell from the sky like stars, as though the great confusion and consternation of Mahapralaya, the great annihilation, had overrun the middle world, causing the destruction of all living beings. Then Namuchi fought with Shakra. The king of Devas himself hit Namuchi with great force by means of his Vajra, but not even a single hair of the Asura Namuchi was cut by that Vajra. All the Asuras and Suras were much surprised at this. Mahendra became ashamed. He struck Namuchi with his club, but as soon as that club came into contact with Namuchi's body, it was smashed into pieces and fell down on the earth. Similarly, Purandara struck him with a great spear. That spear, colliding with Namuchi's limbs, split into 100 pieces. Thus, the slayer of the enemies of Suras struck him with various kinds of weapons, but Namuchi went on smiling and laughing. He did not strike Purandara. Beset with great worry and thought, Indra kept quiet, not know what should be done or what should not be done. In the meantime, during the terrific great battle, an ethereal voice was heard immediately addressing Indra. "Kill this Daitya today, immediately, O Mahendra! He is getting terrible and striking terror into the heaven dwellers. Kill this great leader of Asuras quickly by means of the foam, which is near the waters, and which is hard to be borne. If struck with any other weapon, he can never be killed. Hence, O Lord of Devas, make all possible endeavor to kill this evil minded Namuchi, because Namuchi had a boon that he cannot be killed by any existing weapons. So Indra need to find a non-existing weapon. Otherwise, how someone could be killed by a foam. But what actually happens is when Indra threw that foam towards Namuchi, Vajra was actually, the very capability of foam was equivalent to the Vajra because the Amsha of the Vajra was entered into that particular foam, and by that Namuchi later get killed. On hearing the divine speech that was characterized by truth, that caused perpetual delight and was conducive to auspiciousness, Indra, who was the most excellent one among those who endeavor, went to the other shore of the ocean and attempted to kill Namuchi as he had infinite fund of vigor. On seeing him to have come there, Namuchi became exceedingly angry. He struck Devendra with his spear and laughingly asked, "Why have you resorted to the shore of the ocean? You have left the battlefield. You have even abandoned your weapon. O evil minded one, what harm has been done to me even by your own Vajra? Similarly, many other missiles and weapons had been taken up by you previously to kill me, O dull witted one. Now, what will you do to kill me? You have come here to fight, O fool. With what weapon do you wish to fight in this battle? I will kill you today itself if you stand here in the battle. If not, go, being set free by me, live long and be happy. On hearing these arrogant words of the Daitya who shone in the battle, Mahendra too became furious. He took up the mysteriously wonderful foam. On seeing the foam in his hand, Asuras laughed. Namuchi said to himself, "He has exhausted all his weapons. Therefore, Purandara wishes to kill me today by means of this foam alone. Indeed, Shatakratu Indra is liberal minded." He thus slighted Purandara laughingly. Namuchi, the great Daitya, stood in front of him, displaying his contemptuous disregard. At that very moment, Indra killed him quickly with that particular foam. When Namuchi was killed, all the Devas became delighted. The sages honored Indra with the words, "Well done, well done." After the killing of Namuchi in the battle, all Devas became victorious. Daityas were excited with anger. They were furiously desirous of fighting with the Devas. The battle was resumed. Devas fought with Danavas equipped with many kinds of weapons and missiles. Both were desirous of killing one another. When those Asuras were being struck down again and again, Vrtra of great reflections approached Shatakratu Indra. On seeing Vrtra, all of them, including Suras, Asuras, and human beings, were overcome by great fear. They fell on the ground and lay there. When all the Suras and Siddhas became frightened, the valorous Indra came there riding on Airavata with the thunderbolt in his hand. He shone by the umbrella that was held over him and the chauris by his side too. He was accompanied by all the guardians of the quarters. He was endowed with great power of exploit. On seeing Vratra, all the great devas and the guardians of the quarters became terrified. All of them sought refuge in Shiva. All of them mentally contemplated Shankara, the benefactor of the world. Mahendra, who was desirous of victory, duly worshipped the Linga. This was understood immediately by Guru Brihaspathi. With great confidence, the highly intelligent Brihaspathi said to Chakra the Indra. Brihaspathi said, "The bright half of the lunar month of Kartika, which usually falls in October November period. Saturday and Trayodashi mean the 13th day when all these are concurrent. That means the Kartika and Saturday and Trayodashi, and all these are concurrent. It is undoubtedly conducive to the accomplishment of everything. On that day, at the time of dusk, Sadashiva should be worshipped in the form of linga. O Devendra, for the accomplishment of all desired objectives, the devotee should take his bath at midday and worship Shiva with great sweet scents, fragrant flowers, fruits, etc., together with gingerly seeds and emblic myrobalam. Afterwards, at the time of dusk, he should worship an immobilized linga, whether it is self existent or an installed one, whether it is man made or of divine origin. The devotee should worship that linga with great devotion, whether in the midst of people or in a lonely place, in a forest or in a penance grove. He should particularly worship at the time of dusk. If the linga is stationed outside a village, it is 100 times more efficacious than when it is in the village. The merit of the worship of the wonderful linga in a forest is 100 times more than when it is outside the village. If the linga is worshipped on a mountain, it is 100 times more efficacious than when it is worshipped in a forest. If the linga installed in a penance grove is worshipped, it yields a great benefit. It is 10,000 times more efficacious than the linga stationed on a mountain. Hence, the worship of Shivalinga should be performed efficiently by wise men on the basis of this difference. A holy dip in the sacred spot and other similar rites should also be diligently performed. If the devotee offers 5 pindas, means the rice balls, accompanied by holy dip alone, it is splendid. One should perform the holy ablution in a well, especially with the water drawn. One should perform the holy dip in a lake where after offering 10 pindas. The holy dip in a river is especially superior and particularly so in a great river. The holy dip in Ganga is superior to that in all the other holy spots and waters. If the holy dip is performed in a Devakata means the natural pond or reservoir, it is equal in efficacy to a dip in Ganga. Devotee should perform the rite of holy ablution in a praiseworthy manner. Illumination should be offered to God Sadashiva with 1,000 lamps or 100 lamps or a series of 32 lamps. For the sake of Shiva's gratification, the devotee should illuminate the lamps with ghee. For the attainment of all desired objects, Sadashiva should be worshipped at the time of dusk in the form of linga by men with fruits, lamps, food offerings, sweet scents, incense, and all the 16 upacharas are the modes of rendering service during worship for the fulfillment of all objects. The devotee should circumambulate Shiva 108 times. He should as well exert himself to perform as many prostrations before Shiva. Sadashiva should be honored and worshipped by means of circumambulations and prostrations. Rudra should be eulogized by reciting his 100 names. Obeisance to Rudra, to Bhima, the terrible one, to Nilakantha, the blue-throated god, to Vedas, the creator, to Kapardini, one having matted hair, to Suresha, the lord of Devas, obeisance indeed to Vyomakesha, the sky-haired, to Vrishabhadwaja, bull-bannered god, to Soma, one accompanied by Uma, to Nilakantha, to Digambara, one with quarters for garments, to Bharga, the refulgent one, to Umakanta, the husband of Uma, to Kaparti, to Pomaya, one who is of the nature of penance, to Vyapta, one who is pervaded, obeisance indeed to Shipivista, one who is pervaded by race, to Vyalapriya, one who is fond of serpents, Vyala, one who is identical with serpents, obeisance to the Lord of serpents, to Mahidhara, one who supports the earth, to Vyaghra, the tiger, obeisance to the Lord of Pashus, individual souls, to Tripurantaka Simha, Leonine, Leonine, destroyer of Tripura, to Shardulagravara, Shardulagrava, one whose roaring sound is as dreadful as that of a tiger, to Meena fish, to Meenanatha, to the Lord of fishes, to Siddha, to Parameshti, to Kamantaka, the destroyer of Kama, to Buddha, the enlightened one, obeisance to the Lord of the intellect, to Pota, pigeon, to Vasishta, superior, Vishishta, superior one, to Shishta, the good discipline, to Paramatman, the supreme soul, to Veda and Veda Bija, seed of the Vedas, obeisance indeed to Devaguhya, secret known only to gods, to Dirgha, long one, Dirgha, longer than the long one, to Dirgharga, one of long respectful offerings, to Maha festival, obeisance to Jagat Pratishtha, one who is established in the universe, obeisance indeed to Vyomarupa, one who is in the form of firmament, to Gajasura Vimsha, Gajasura Vinasha, one who has destroyed the demon in the form of elephant, to Andhakasura Bhedi, one who has split the demon Andhaka, to Neelohita Shukla, one of blue, red, and white colors, to Chanda Munda Priya, one who is fond of Chanda and Munda, to Bhakti Priya, one who is fond of devotion, to Deva, resplendent God, to Gnana, knowledge of knowledges, to Avyaya, the immutable, to Mahesha, the great Lord. O Mahadeva, obeisance to you, to Hara, the destroyer, to Trinetra, the three-eyed god, Triveda, one who is eulogized in the three Vedas, obeisance to Vedanga, the embodiment of Vedas, to Artha, the wealth, to Artharupa, one who has the form of wealth, obeisance indeed to Paramartha, the ultimate reality, to Vishwarupa, one who has the cosmic form, to Vishwa, the universe, obeisance indeed to Vishwanatha, Lord of the universe, to Shankara, the benefactor, to Kala, god of death, to Kala, Vayurupi, Kala Vayurupi, one who is in the form of units of MC. Sorry, Kala Vayurupi, one who is in the form of units of time, to Arupa, formless, to Sukma, the subtle one, obeisance indeed to the subtler than the subtlest, obeisance to you who reside in the cremation ground, obeisance to you, wearer of elephant hide, to Shashanka Shekara, one who has the moon as the crest jewel, to Rudra, to Vishwara, Vishwashraya, the supporter of Vishwashraya, the support of the universe, to Durga, unattainable, to Durgasara, the essence of the unattainable, to Durgavaya one who is witness unto the limbs of Durga, Linga Rupa, one who is in the form of Linga, to Linga, obeisance to the Lord of Lingas, obeisance to Onkara, obeisance indeed to Pranamartha, the meaning of Pranava, Onkara, obeisance to you, the cause of the causes, to Mrityunjaya, the conqueror of death, to Atmaswarupa, one who is in the form of soul, to Bhavaswarupi, one who is in the form of world, to Trayambaka, Triyamba, or Trinetra, one who has three eyes, O Asitakanta, dark throated, O Bharga, the refulgent one, O Gauripati, consort of Gauri, obeisance to Sakala Mangala Hetu, the cause of all auspiciousness. Brihaspathi said the 100 names of Mahesha should be repeated always by the Vriti observer of the holy vows, along with circumambulation and prostrations of that number of great effort. This should be done at the time of dusk for the sake of gratifying Shankara. Such is the holy observance fully explained to you. O Shakra of great intellect, perform this quickly. O Lord of exalted fortune, fight only afterwards, O Lord. By the grace of Shambhu, victory will come to you. This highly refulgent Daitya has formerly propitiated God Shiva by performing penance on Mount Gandhamadana. There was a king named Chitraratha. No, O Indra, that his park was near the city of Shiva. His park was named Chaitraratha. O Indra of exalted fortune, the six infirmities of human beings, that is, grief, delusion, old age, death, hunger, and thirst, do not find a place in that park. Hence, that park named Chaitraratha was exceedingly auspicious. A wonderful vehicle had been given to that king by Shiva himself. The vehicle could go wherever one desired to go. It was fitted with small ornamental tinkling bells and was attended upon by siddhas and charanas. It was rendered resplendent by Gandharvas, Apsaras, Yakshas, and Kinnaras. Once he was wandering around the earth, big mountains, different kinds of islands, etc. Once in the course of his wandering, the great king named Chitraratha came to Kailasa. There he saw an exceedingly wonderful assembly hall of Mahesha that shone on the account of the Ganas. He saw Maheshwara also, who looked splendid with a goddess adhering to half of his body. When he saw Sadashiva accompanied by the goddess as well as closely joined to the goddess, he spoke these words: We, the ministers, etc., and others, O Shambhu, cling to worldly pleasures. Others who there are who are enslaved by and enamored by women. We are indeed ignorant too, but out of shyness we do not enjoy the company of woman in the midst of people. Because at that point Shiva was putting Parvati or Shiva putting the Shakti on his lap, and she was occupying the left half of the Shiva. So he is commenting saying that how can you accompany with a woman in a public gathering? On hearing these words, Mahesha laughingly said in a just and proper manner, even as all were listening, all are afraid of popular censure and not otherwise. Poison Kalakuta, which could not be digested by anyone, was swallowed by me. Still, a mocking criticism about me was made by this king. This is difficult to be digested by me. Girija called Chitraratha and spoke these words. Girija said, O evil minded one, O ignorant fellow, why was Shankara mocked at and ridiculed along with me? O dull witted one, you will see the consequences of your action. He who mocks and ridicules equanimous and even minded good people, whether he is a deva or a human being, should be known as the meanest of all mean people. These leading sages of great magnanimity, those anchorites steeped in the Vedas, and these philosophers, Sanaka and others, worship Shiva. Do you think they are all ignorant ones? O confounded one, among all the people, you suppose that you alone are the Abhigna, one with rich experience and profound knowledge, and not other people. Therefore, I shall make you a viscri that Daitya excluded, excommunicated by Devas and Brahmanas. Brihaspathi continued, on being cursed thus by goddess Bhavani, the excellent king Chitraratha immediately fell from heaven. He took birth in the race of Asuras and came to be known by the name Vrtra. He was gradually made to perform penance by Twastra Vishwakarma. It is said that Vrtra became invincible on account of that great penance, hence worship God Shambhu now during the time of dusk in accordance with prescribed method. Then kill Vrtra, the great Daitya, for accomplishing the cause of Devas. On hearing these words of his preceptor, Indra said, tell me the mode of the performance of worship of Shiva during Pradosha or the dusk time, along with its Udyapana Vidhi, including rites. Brihaspathi said, in the month of Kartika, when Saturday and Trayodashi, the 13th day, coincide, all the requirements are complete for the sake of getting the benefit of entire holy rite. Here is the procedure of worshipping God Shiva. A silver bull should be made. There must be a good there must be a good pita seat upon its the back of silver bull. The devotee must keep the three-eyed Lord, the consort of Uma, upon it. The Lord must have 5 faces and 10 hands. Half of his body must be Chastity, daughter of the mountain. Thus, both it means half of his body should be Uma and other half should be like Shiva. Thus, both Uma and Mahesha should be made of gold by the learned devotee. All these, the bull, etc., must be placed on a copper plate and covered with a cloth. The linga must be placed along with Uma with all necessary offerings and enjoyment, means food offerings, scents, and incenses, etc. During the night, the devotee should keep a vigil in accordance with the injunctions and with great faith. At the outset, the bathing rite should be performed with panchamrita, that means 5 sweet ingredients in fluid form. Then the following mantras should be recited in offering each. The mantra at the time of bathing the god with cow's milk. This is basically the for the sake of panchamrita abhisheka, where the first is with cow's milk. O Lord of Devas, O Lord of chiefs of Devas, nothing is offered by me with cow's milk. Please accept it, O Parameshwara, the great Lord. And then the offering is with the mantra for while bathing the god with curds. O Lord, bathing is performed by me now with curds, except that what has been offered by me. Be highly delighted now. The mantra at the time of bathing with ghee. O Lord, bathing is performed by me now with ghee, accept what has been offered with faith for the sake of gratifying you. The mantra for bath with honey. This honey is given by me for the sake of your pleasure. Accept it, O Lord of Devas. Be the bestower of tranquility on me. The mantra while offering bath with sugar. O Lord, bathing is performed by me now, O Lord of the chiefs of Devas, with sugar. Accept this which has been offered with faith, O Lord, be delighted. Thus, the bull bannered Lord must be bathed in Panchamrita. Afterwards, Arghya, the materials of worship, must be offered by the intelligent devotee in a copper vessel with this following mantra for the gratification of the consort of Uma. Mantra for offering of Arghya. You are the most benefiting person for being worshipped by this Arghya, O consort of Uma. Accept this, O Lord, whatever is offered by me. Be pleased, O Shankara. Mantra for offering Padya. Accept, O Lord, for the chiefs of Devas, the Padya, which is basically water for washing the feet. It is offered by me to you along with fragrant flowers and sweet scents. Be pleased, be the bestower of boons. Mantra for offering a seat. A seat along with another seat has been offered by me, O Lord, for the sake of your peace and calmness. O Lord of Devas, always be bestower of boons on me. Mantra at the time of offering Achamya. Achamya, that is water for the ceremonial sipping, has been given to you, O Lord Vishweshwara. Accept, O great Ishana, be delighted with me today, O Lord. Mantra while offering the sacred thread. A golden sacred thread which consists of Brahma Granthi knot and which causes all holy rites to function is offered by me to you, O Lord. Mantra while offering sandal paste. Sweet scents and sandal paste have been offered by me, O Lord, with great devotion. O Shambhu, Bhava, make me fragrant. Mantra while offering a lamp. O Shambhu, an excellent lamp kindled with ghee has been offered by me. Accept it, O Lord of Devas, be the bestower of knowledge on me. Mantra while offering incense. Excellently superior lamp invigorated with all medicinal herbs has been offered by me. Accept it, O great Ishana, for the sake of my peace and calmness. Mantra before arati or waving of lamps. O Parameshwara, accept the rows of lamps offered by me. By virtue of my offering of waving of lights, be the bestower of splendor on me. By persons who are conversant with injunctions regarding the worship, the Lord should be carefully and diligently worshipped on that night by offering in the following order fruits, lights, etc., food offering, betel leaf, etc. The devotee must keep awake thereafter, whether in a house or in a temple. The canopy over the dais must be put up with various wonderful decorations. God Sadashiva should be worshipped by means of songs, musical instruments, and dance. It is in accordance with these injunctions that the concluding rites in the worship at Pradosha should be performed duly for the sake of the fulfillment of all objects. Shatakratu Indra performed everything mentioned by Guru Brihaspathi. With him as his main help, Indra engaged himself in the battle. Shatakratu fought against Vrtra along with Suras. The fight between Devas and Danavas was fierce. In that exceedingly fierce battle that caused destruction among Devas and Daityas, the duels were extremely terrifying and tumultuous. Vyoma fought with Yama, Tikshnakopha fought with Agni, Mahadamshtra fought with Varuna, Mahabala fought with Vayu. All those engaged in duels were desirous of or suppressing the strength of one another. The excellent devas of powerful arms were heroic in battle. They became victorious then. All the leading Daityas met with very great defeat on all fronts. On seeing the leading Daityas defeated by Suras, running away as fugitives, Vrtra of great strength spoke these words with extreme wrathfulness. Vrtra said, O Daityas, why are you greatly distressed? Why are you so frightened? All of you are running away, abandoning the war of wonderful events. O heroes, resolve to fight, display your respective valor. O mighty ones, kill the groups of suras with maces, spears, with sharp edges, swords, javelins, iron clubs, mallets, swords, with thin edges, Some javelins hurled at the enemy's noses, maces, and even your fists. Then Devas fought Asuras with great weapons and missiles made out of Dadichi's bones. They tore up Asuras. This was repeated often. Again and again, Daityas were killed by Devas. They met with defeat again and again. They were urged up by Vrtra to fight Suras. The excellent Daityas were being killed by the leading Suras. They fled in all directions. Some of the Danavas were frightened so much that they appeared to be eunuchs. The leading Daityas were rebuked and censured by furious Vrtra. O Puloma of great fortune, O Vrishaparva, obeisance to you. O Dhumraksha, O Mahakala, O Vrakasura, the great Daitya. O Stulaksha, the eminent Daitya. O Stuladamshtra, obeisance to you. The excellent battlefield is a gateway to heaven for Kshatriyas of great magnanimity. Why do you abandon it and run away? Those who meet death in the battlefield attain the greatest position. Or a learned man must desire to die in battle. Those who forsake the battlefield certainly go to hell. If men who have committed great sins fight in a battlefield with weapons in their hands for the sake of Brahmanas, their servants or for their own sake and get killed being hit with weapons in the battle, they go to the highest region. There is no doubt about it. Those whose bodies are cut off by means of weapons for taking up the cause of cows are their own masters. Those who die or those who are wounded in the war do attain the greatest goal of reaching heaven. If persons of great heroism are killed in battle, they attain the greatest region, even if they are sinners. They attain the region not easy of access even to the learned men. Pilgrimage to holy places, study of the Vedas, worshipping of the deities, performance of yajnas and other different kinds of holy rites conducive to welfare, all put together do not deserve even a 16th part of the holy action of those who fall in battle. This has been laid down in all the sacred treatises. Hence, the valorous and glorious act of fighting should be carried out by you without suspicion or fear. It should not be otherwise because the Vedic statements are authoritative. All of you belong to the profession of heroes. You are magnanimous and dignified due to nobility of birth and course of conduct. But if you run away from the war zone like cowards, you are sure to go those worlds of cowards like them. According to Smritis, all of them means the cowards certainly go to the world of sinners, the hell. Those worst sinners who adhere to the unrighteous things, the slayers of Brahmanas and the defilers of the preceptors, will go to hell. In the same manner, those who stray away or desert from the war incur the same sin and go to hell. Hence, you people who are capable of bearing the burden of the work of your master, you must fight. On being told thus by the noble soul Vrtra, the Asuras carried out his words. They fought a furious battle with Suras, terrifying all the worlds. When the tremendous and tumultuous battle ensued, Vrtra, the sole lord of the great Daityas, who was overwhelmed by extraordinary wrath, said to Indra, accompanied by the excellent Devas, Vrtra said, listen to the words uttered by me. It is conducive to your welfare. It is connected with virtuous objects. Although you are the Lord of Devas, you do not know what is good and what is not. What were your objectives for which Vishwarupa was killed by you? Whatever these persons do for the accomplishment of their task is futile. Those who do not see far into the future, those who are foolish and confounded, those who are excluded from pity and virtue, and those who are incompetent, know all these, O Devendra, let it be pondered over mentally. Hence, be virtuous and free from the taint of sin. Then fight with me. You are the slayer of my brother Vishwarupa. O Indra, hence I will now going to kill you. Be steady. Do not run away surrounded by devas. On being told thus by Vrtra, Shakra became exceedingly furious. He mounted on the elephant Airavata and went ahead with a desire to kill Vrtra. On seeing Indra coming, Vrtra, the most excellent one among the powerful persons, said laughingly, even as all the others were listening to it, strike me at the outset, then I shall kill you. On being told thus, Devendra hit hard with his mace. Vrtra, of great strength and the most excellent one among those who possess power at the knee, seeing that mace is coming, Vrtra caught hold of it sportively. With that very same mace, he struck back immediately at Indra, the king of heaven. But Gadha, the mace, knocked down Purandara along with his Vajra. On seeing Shakra fallen, Vrtra spoke to Suras, O Devas, take your lord to your city, Amaravati. On hearing these truthful words of the noble souled Vrtra, all the Suras did so. Eagerly they removed him even while he was seated on the elephant from the battlefield and surrounded him with fear. All those Suras left the battlefield and went to heaven. When the Devas had departed, the great Asura Vrtra danced and laughed loudly, and thereby the quarters were filled with that sound. The entire earth, including the mountains, parks, and forests, shook and trembled. All mobile and immobile things became agitated. On hearing that Devendra had gone from the battlefield, Brahma, the grandfather of the world, came near him. With the water from his kamandalu, he touched or sprinkled it on Devendra. At that very same instant, Purandara regained consciousness. On seeing Brahma in front of him, Indra became ashamed. Brahma, the grandfather, said to Mahendra, who felt ashamed, Brahma said, Vrtra is endowed with the power of penance done by himself. He is endowed with the power of penance of Vrtra also. He abides by the holy rite and vow of celibacy. This Vratra of great fame has become invincible due to his severe penance, hence conquer him by means of penance. Vratrasura, the lord of Daityas, can be conquered only through great penance, O Chakra. On hearing the words of Brahma, Hari, that is Indra, remembered the bull bannered lord, the noble souled Purandara, urged by his preceptor Brihaspathi, began to eulogize Lord Shiva with a prayer. Indra prayed obeisance to Lord Bharga, who is very difficult to be approached by Devas. O Lord of Devas, be the bestower of boons for the sake of the accomplishment of the tasks of Devas. The liberal minded consort of Shachi was thus engaged in eulogy. Indeed, he was very prompt and skillful in matters concerning himself. He was slow witted, but was certainly devoted to worldly pleasures. Deluded persons devoted to worldly pleasures do not attain the highest region of Isha, even if they are engaged in devotion to Shiva, as they are passionate and sensualist. Those people who are free from impurities, egotism, and arrogance, and who worship Mada, the gracious, are Isha, the supreme lord, Shambhu, the greatest lord who bestows perfect knowledge, are really great people. Shankara is the bestower of boons on them, both here and hereafter. Mahendra was the great sensualist. Sarva had been eulogized by Mahendra, who was passionate. There is no doubt that Shambhu can rarely be approached by sensualists, and Sadashiva can always be visualized directly by non sensualists. Indeed, the king of Suras was exceedingly passionate. He professed to be very efficient in accomplishing his own tasks. Hence, Shachipati Indra had always to strain and exert himself. He was perpetually indulgent in his own lust and similar emotions of the heart. On account of the seriousness of the matter, Mahesha of the form of Linga, who was the seer and vision of all, understood everything and spoke to Indra, who was eulogizing, O Indra, go to Vrtra the Danava along with Suras. O Shatakratu, he can be conquered in the battle only through the power of penance. Indra said, by what means can this great and excellent Daitya be conquered, O Shambhu? Let that be mentioned immediately, whereby my success can be achieved. Rudra then said, he cannot be killed in battle even by the excellent Devas. Hence, a mean act or a trickery must be performed by you today. Formerly, this demon had been cursed by Parvati in my presence. At that time, he had been a king named Chitrarata, well reputed in all the three worlds. He was wandering here and there in an excellent, refulgent aerial chariot given by me. The leading Daityas had to be born of this womb of Daitya because of his satirical ridicule. Hence, O excellent one, among those who are expert in wars, know him to be invincible in war. Thus, Mahendra was told by Shambhu, the greatest yogi, saying, so be it, and honoring it. Shakta took up devout observances and restraints. O highly fortunate sages, the Shakra Indra made up his mind to stay near Vrtra for 1,000 years, waiting for a weak and vulnerable point in order to kill Vrtra. With the permission of Guru Brihaspathi, his priest, the thunderbolt armed Indra stood out of Amara Antarvedi and carried on his activities vigorously. Once Vrtra, the Daitya chief, surrounded by all Daityas, casually came to Narmada. Vrtra, endowed with manliness, always thought thus Indra has met with defeat and discomfiture. He has been taken to heaven by Devas. All my enemies have been struck down. There is no one like me. Thinking thus, O Brahmanas, he came to river Narmada, at the time of dusk. At that time of dusk, the very great Daitya Vrtra, the most excellent one among powerful persons surrounded by Asuras, was seen by Indra. And that day it was a Trayodashi, the 13th day, was in conjunction with Saturday. Brihaspathi caught hold of the hand of Indra. Indra was urged by Guru to perform the worship of Shiva. At that time, the Linga form Omkara, a famous Jyotirlinga on the bank of Narmada. It was worshipped by Indra by means of circumambulations, prostrations, in accordance with the injunctions of the sacred scriptures. Due to the greatness of the holy rite during the dusk hours,
as well as the grace of Shankara, the valorous lord armed with thunderbolt became very powerful instantly. Though he was endowed with power of penance, the great Vrtra was overcome by sleep during the time of dusk. He was roused from the sleep by Sunda. Since he slept during the time of dusk, the merit that had been earned through penance was ruined at the very same instant. He became devoid of splendor. This is the reason why in Bharata people are told not to sleep during the dusk period. That is the time when the sun is setting. People should not sleep. On account of the curse of the goddess too, Vrtra became disappointed in his desired object. More than a quarter of the duration of the dusk had passed when Vrtra entered the holy water surrounded by different kinds of daityas with diverse kinds of weapons. Shatakratu, the consort of Shachi, who was seeking the weak and vulnerable point, understood the same and so slowly approached him to kill his enemy. By that time, all the excited and terrible daityas of horrifying exploits stood up simultaneously, unable to bear the attack of Shatakratu. Thereafter ensued a battle with them as they had a very strong army. Then all Devas came there for rendering assistance to Indra. With very great speed and force, Daityas and Devas fought one another. Battle that was fought during the night resulted in the crushing and destroying of both Suras and Asuras. Battle became extremely terrible as many weapons and missiles were used by them. When the war of exceedingly severe and terrible nature went on thus, Vratra took up his exceedingly powerful spear and got ready. He faced Indra and roared terrifically. The reverberation of the loud shout frightened all the three worlds. Mahendra, mounted on his elephant Airavata, shone then with the umbrella that was refulgent like the disk of the moon, being held high up above him, even as he was being fanned by chauris. He spoke to the great Daitya. Indra said, O Vratra, you are surrounded by a great army, although you are the hero of heroes on account of your great penance. Fight with me. On being told thus by him, Vritra spoke these words, O Indra, strike me first, afterwards I shall kill you. Saying, so be it, and thinking about it, Purandara was desirous of discharging the exceedingly unbearable thunderbolt of a 100 sharp edges, but he was prevented by that priest of great luster, the most excellent one among the intelligent persons, thinking that it should be so. Indra did accordingly. The lord of Devas took up an iron club and struck Vratra with it. Vratra warded it off like a miser dodging a guest. On observing that his iron club had been futile, Indra became full of anxiety. As he was thinking thus, Vritra spoke to him rebukingly, O Shakra, has the wonderfully contemptible, vulgar act performed by you has been forgotten? It was on account of it that you have become a thousand-eyed one due to the curse of the great sage Gautama. Those heroic persons who restrain their different sense organs to attain victory and not others like you. Undoubtedly, the battlefield is extremely terrible for the sinners like you. Thus, the great Daitya rebuked Devendra, the lord of Devas, then shook his trident that was on par with lightning. With that great spear, Vrtra of wonderful exploits, shone like Rudra, the destroyer of creation at the end of yugas by means of his penance. On observing him in that posture, Shatakratu, the lord of Devas, rushed at Vrta and great Danava with a desire to kill him. On seeing Purandara rushing at himself with a desire to kill him, Vrtra laughed loudly, instilling fear in Shakra. Opening his mouth very widely, the lord of Daityas with great splendor came there suddenly to swallow Shakra. He grabbed into his mouth Shakra along with his elephant, thunderbolt, and crown. He then danced and roared. Within a moment, Purandara was completely swallowed. There was a great shout of Alas, Alas from the Devas who watched it. There was an earthquake and thousands of meteors fell. The entire universe, consisting of mobile and immobile beings, was enveloped in darkness. Vrtra, who was dancing, then became exceedingly brilliant. Being pierced in heart, all the Devas came to Brahma and reported to him everything that was done by the Asura Vrtra. On hearing it, Lord Brahma became distressed and surprised very much. How was this wonderfully serious crisis in the case of Mahendra taken place? Then, along with Devas, Brahma, the grandfather of all the worlds, eulogized Lord Girisha with great concentration of mind. Brahma eulogized Om obeisance to Mahadeva, whose form is Linga. I bow to the Lord of cosmic form. Obeisance to Virupaksha of uneven three eyes. Save, O Lord of the three worlds, save Purandara, who has been swallowed by Vrtra. At that time, a very clear, fine, ethereal voice spoke, even as all were listening. It referred to the process of the worship of Linga. It was addressed to everyone desirous of his welfare. What has been done by Indra, who has undertaken the holy Pradosha rite, is incomplete and imperfect in regard to Nirmalya, a reminder of the previous worship, or Vitika, pedestal, or Chaya, the shadow, and Prasada, the palace. The pedestal has been crossed by him as he was circumambulating, because after performing the entire worship of Shiva, one should not. Why? Because we need to circumambulate around that place where you put the Shivalinga. However, at that time, one should not cross the Nirmalya, the Shiva Nirmalya, the remaining flowers, or the Pitika, or the shadow of the Shivalinga, or the Prasada, which is the palace of Shiva. These should not be crossed while we do circumambulating. Here, Indra had made the same mistake, and that is why he is unable to kill Vratra. Those confounded persons who cross it are undoubtedly worthy of being punished by Chanda, the chief of Ganas, and circumambulations and prostrations should be carefully performed along with the worship of Linga. Indeed, the worship of Linga should be carefully performed by those who have had the intimation for the sake of quelling all the sins. It should be performed with the sole intention of attaining spiritual welfare. On hearing those words not originating from any embodied being, Suras, beginning with Brahma, asked with palms joined in reverence to the ethereal voice, the cause of everything that is auspicious. How are we to worship the Linga? By what method or procedure? When should it be? In the morning, at midday, or in the evening? What are the flowers to be used in the evening as well as at the midday? Are they the same as in the morning? Say exactly as it is. Then the ethereal voice said in detail, the following flowers can be used on all the three occasions: Karavira, Pushpa, Brahati Pushpa, Bhattura, lotus, Aragvada, Punnaga, Bakula, Nagakeshara, white lotus or Kadamba, and Mandara. many other excellent flowers and many varieties of lotuses should be known as always sacred by learned men. Jati and Mallika, Jaji and Mallika, which are varieties of jasmines, Mogaraka flowers, Neela flowers, Kitaja flowers, Karnikara, Kaushumba, and red lotus. These are the flowers for worship of Linga during midday. They are mentioned as the best by me. Now I shall tell you about the evening worship. Champaka flowers are undoubtedly sacred on all the three occasions. At night, Mogaraka flowers are very sacred. There is no doubt about it. After knowing these differences in the modes of worshipping the Linga, the due process of worship should be followed by those who are conversant with the injunctions. The worship shall always be in a temple of Shiva. One shall not perform circumambulations through the space between the bull and linga, nor should one go beyond the pitika, the panipita. If that is done, one shall incur a sin. Further, the circumambulation was performed by Shakra with Rajasa trait of character, hence it has become fruitless. Purandara has been swallowed today by Vrtra along with his elephant. That action whereby Indra is released should be performed by you people. You must perform the rite in accordance with the injunctions in Maharudra. We shall become liberated at the time he shall become liberated at the same time. O Devas, Purandara will thus become liberated. There is no doubt about it. Following those words, Devas scrupulously worshipped Rudra as per the injunctions and reciting of Rudra Sukta. Suras worshipped Rudra with 11 recitations of Rudra Sukta. They performed Shavana or fire offerings right to the extent of one tenth of the recitation. O excellent Brahmanas, desirous of setting Purandara free, suddenly Devas performed Japa, Puja, Havana. Then the king of Devas, by the grace of Shambhu, came out after breaking open the belly of Vrtra. On seeing that the Lord of Devas had come out by means of his prowess, along with his elephant, thunderbolt, crown, and earrings, the Purandara of great prowess had regained his great glory. Many of the celestial war drums and conches were sounded. Gandharvas, celestial damsels, yakshas, and the sages became joyous. Immediately after Purandara got liberated, all the heaven dwellers became extremely delighted. When Shachi came to the place where Purandara got liberated, Shachi is wife of Indra. There he was crowned along with Shachi by the great sages. The auspicious rite of Punya Havachana, repetition of the words, today is an auspicious day, etc., was performed with great effort by everyone. Thus Mahendra was crowned by the sages then. The earth became extremely auspicious then. O excellent Brahmanas, the quarters became clear, the sky was rid of its impurities, then the fires became tranquil, so also the minds of exalted souls. When Shatakratu was liberated, these and many other miraculously wonderful auspicious omens occurred. When the great festivities of those exalted persons were taking place, Vratra's dead, dreadful body fell down. There itself, the extremely sinful Brahmahatya fell on the ground. The space between Ganga and Yamuna is called Antarvedi. It is well known as a sacred land or Punya Bhumi. It is famous as the sanctifier of the worlds, the land where the Hatya or Brahma Hatya felt dead is a sinful region since there was a great deal of impurity. Mala, that place is glorified as Madhava. The great head of Vrtra fell on that ground of impurity within 6 months after being cut off by all the Devas, including Vasava. Thus, by slaying Vrtra, Shakra attained victory. Consort of Shachi sat on the throne of the overlord without any mental worry or agony. In the meantime, Daityas approached Bali, who was staying in the Patala, and recounted to him all the activities of Shakra. On hearing their words, the son of Virochana became angry. He asked Shukra how Indra could be won over. This was said to Bali by Shukracharya, the preceptor of the Daityas. O king, perform a great yajna today for the acquisition of the chariot of victory. Your victory will be achieved by means of that. Bali, who was making preparations for the yajna, was told by Brigu, thus the son of Bhargava, Shukracharya. The liberal minded son of Virochana quickly gathered together whatever materials were required for the yajna and kept them in store. Great yajna was started by the noble souled son of Brigu. Bali took up the Diksha, the initiation, and performed the Homa in the sacred fire. When the Homa was duly performed in the sacred fire, in the course of the holy rite, in accordance with the injunctions, a miraculously wonderful chariot came out from that fire for Bali. It was yoked with 4 horses. The emblem was that of a lion of great luster. It was adorned by means of white horses. The chariot was glorious and equipped with weapons and missiles. Then, urged by Shukra, he performed Avabhrata, the valedictory bath. After worshipping the chariot, Bali rode in it, surrounded by Daityas and desirous of fighting Purandara. Bali, the great son of Virochana, immediately went to heaven. After coming there along with his army, he laid siege on Amaravati. On seeing that their city had been besieged, all the excellent Suras pondered and deliberated on it for a long time and said to Brihaspathi, what shall we do now? O highly fortunate one, the chief of Daityas have come. All of them are exceedingly terrible, very efficient in war, and desirous of fighting. On hearing their words, Brihaspati said, O Suras, these terrible Daityas, beginning with Vrtra, had been incited by Brigu. All of them have become invincible by penance as well as valor. On hearing these words full of good qualities, all the Suras became ashamed. Indra too lost his sense on account of worry. He became ashamed on being openly rebuked. Thus ended chapter 18 in the Kedar Khanda of the Maheshwara Khanda of Skanda Purana. Namaste Sharada Devi Kashmira Puravasini Tvamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.